My name is Robert Hughes, and I'm here to talk to you about the Bristol Antimicrobial Resistance, or AMR, network. So this is a Bristol-led network similar to the Infectious Diseases or Infectious Diseases network at Bristol, but we're specifically trying to bring together researchers from all the different disciplines to focus on antimicrobial resistance. So I'll tell you a little bit about it. Because I'm an engineer and physicist originally by training, I'm going to explain it as if I was explaining it to myself 7 years ago when I started getting involved. So hopefully that's helpful for some of you. This may be common knowledge for a lot of you. But what is AMR? Antimicrobial resistance, or AMR, is basically what it says on the tin. It is the antimicrobials, or these microbes like bacteria, fungi, parasites, viruses, that over time develop resistance to the drugs that we use to try and tackle them. So things like, well, this is a good example really, where you have lots of different pellets here of different antibiotics, and you have a bacteria growing on the surface, and some of those have become resistant to certain antibiotics. This is a massive challenge, and as a society, or as really a civilization, we've only been using antibiotics for less than 100 years. So they were discovered in 1928 and only really started being prescribed in the 1940s. So bacteria hasn't really seen them very much. And so over these past less than 100 years, the increased use of them in various aspects of society, including clinical use, agricultural use, means that they're being exposed, and the generation cycles and evolution cycles of bacteria mean that they can develop resistances very quickly. So this is a massive problem, and as I said, it's not something that can be easily solved by individual disciplines. So in 2016, there was a really good report, the O'Neill report, which basically looked at this as a global problem and how it might be tackled. And they effectively, among other things, proposed that there were a number of different faces that had to be targeted in order to overcome antimicrobial resistance. They included things like public awareness, investment in human capital, drugs, vaccines, alternatives, rapid diagnosis, as well as surveillance and things like that. And these are just some of the recommendations, the ones that are, I think, particularly important or main priorities. But they all have an impact, and there's so many aspects of society and the way that we deal and treat antibiotics or treat people and how we manage them that will affect AMR. So, around the same time as the O'Neill report, Bristol actually put a bid together and put together a community called Bristol Bridge. The idea being that there were many people at the University of Bristol that were all experts in their field and working on areas related to AMR. But this bid was designed to bring together that community and really start tackling those problems more holistically. So Bristol Bridge ran very successfully for many years, and a number of people that are going to be speaking today were involved in that. And the Bristol AMR network is the kind of evolution or the legacy of that community. So myself and a number of volunteers are a part of the committee to manage this community and try to ensure that it stays together and stays coherent and is adaptive to bids and opportunities that are available. In a recent event that we held about 6 months ago, we brought together as many of the community as we could and had discussions about what are the main activities that we as Bristol AMR researchers are looking into. And they included things such as biomedical mechanisms of AMR, detection and diagnosis, animal health, clinical usage, and social and political behaviours and factors. So spanning the whole range of different faculties and disciplines at the University of Bristol. Within that, we also discussed about how these different aspects are all linked, and we essentially came to the conclusion that they are all linked intrinsically, and you can't really have progress in one without supporting progress in the other as well. So this is the kind of research space that Bristol AMR works in, and we work closely with GW4 AMR Alliance as well. Just a little snapshot from the event that we held 6 months ago. Some of you may recognise some of these pictures from the flash talks that were given last year. and credit to all the people that are involved in that. And if you'd like access to any of these, the slides, you can be a part of our network and we can share that with you. We cover all sorts of things from surveillance, clinical usage, engagement with partners around the world, looking at how different countries deal with antibiotic usage, and as well as nanotechnology, microfluidics, modeling, diagnostics, and then also just interactions with social behaviors as well as a whole range of other activities. So this is the community that we run, and that I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't plug our event that'll be happening in a couple of weeks' time, or at the end of May. So if you'd like to come along and find out about the different research that people in our community do, talk to companies that will be there. So we have companies such as Floretic, a startup that is trying to develop diagnostics to detect bacterial infection much faster. Then please do come along. It'll also be a launch event for an internal impact acceleration call where you can apply to develop a project for maximizing impact within AMR. So I think that's me finished. Please use these contact details to get in touch if you'd like to be involved, and hopefully see some of you at the event. Thanks.